All right. Another story. So the last story that I told was how I did not end up going into the Marine Corps. Another result of the bad car accident that I was in is that I got a big insurance settlement. Now, being 19 years old at the time, I really wanted the money. I probably could have held out and maybe gotten a lawyer and probably gotten more money. But I don't know. I just kind of wanted to get it over with. It was like a year-long process, waiting to see what the settlement would be, and hiring a lawyer. A lawyer would have taken a ton of whatever the settlement was. I decided to accept the insurance settlement, and it was $100,000 settlement, and I was 19 years old, like I said. Hadn't really had much in quite a while. Not since I was a young kid did I have cool things really in my life. I was living with a foster family at the time, and I had been there I think 2 or 3 years, and so this money was huge for me, huge for any 19-year-old kid, unless you're come from a very rich family maybe. But after paying, let's see, I had 16 grand in initial medical bills. This was also to pay the medical bills that I had, which was huge, by the way. After paying the initial 16,000 in medical bills, I think the insurance company cut me a check for $86,000 and some change. That was huge. Needless to say, I got kind of a big head about myself. Not really thinking I was better than anyone, but literally I didn't have to worry about anything, at least for a while, and I could get my own place. I could buy a new car. It was a nice feeling. It was my first real sense of being on my own. I'd always had jobs since I was probably 14 years old, and before that I worked for my dad since I was probably 10. So I was no stranger to work, and even when I had this money, I worked most of the time. But the money that I worked for, it was I was making $8 to $10 an hour. It was nothing to write home about. And so I went and bought a brand new car, my first ever new car, and I paid cash for it, $20,000 cash. I bought a new Honda Civic in 2005. This was in 2004, but it was a 2005 car. I got my first apartment, put the down payment down, started paying the monthly rent. I don't remember what it was, $450 a month or something. It wasn't crazy expensive. Basically bought all the stuff that I wanted, anything that I wanted. I bought a new Xbox, which at the time was $300, $400. I bought games for that. I bought every DVD I ever wanted. I had every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that was ever made, including Hercules in New York. I built a huge DVD collection, 300 or 400 DVDs. Basically bought anything I wanted, decorated my apartment. It was a fantastic time, I'm not going to lie. I was only 19, but I was able to buy alcohol, whenever I wanted. So I had my own place, I had independence, I had a brand new car, I had a job, and, I wasn't stupid. It's not like I didn't know the money would run out. But I was very careless, to say the least. I was a new money person, right? And like I said, it's not like I hit the lottery. It wasn't millions of dollars. It was, after all the medical bills were finally paid, it ended up being about $50,000. And like I said, $20,000 to a car. My lifestyle far out exceeded my income, and so it took me about a year and a half to 2 years to blow through all that money, even working. Sometimes there's a feeling of regret about it. What I could have done something with. I could have thrown some of that into an account or into stocks or something, into a retirement fund. I don't know. I could have been a lot smarter. I could have bought some property. I could have bought a house. But you know what? What I've learned in life and having that money at that age has helped to teach me even is that it's just stuff, man. It's just stuff. Because you know what? All that stuff I bought, everything that I bought during that period of time, every single thing, the car, the houses I rented, all the DVDs, the Xbox, all the games, like all that stuff that I bought, new TVs, furniture, every bit of that is gone. I don't have any of that to show for that money. And while some people might be like, wow, that's pretty dumb. It's like, yeah, but I learned a really important lesson. But the money really didn't mean a whole lot. The things didn't mean a whole lot. And the experience is still something I look back on. I'm like, man, that was a fun time, right? Till the money ran out. So not only did I learn from that, like, to not be as careless with money, but also learn that, it's just stuff. Like, I realize now, years later, me not having that stuff right now, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. Like, am I sometimes upset that I don't have the DVD collection I had built that ended up being like 500 DVDs? Yeah, sometimes. Like, I look back on that and it makes me kind of sad. But that's like, we're in an age now where I can watch any movie I want at any time online, just like that. So it's like none of it really mattered, right? So it taught me one thing, that stuff really doesn't matter, and it also taught me that money comes and goes, man. And it when you have it and things are great, and then you don't have it and things aren't so great. It's like, really, the only difference there was money. The only difference there is you could be a little more careless. Sometimes, it means you don't have to worry, okay, about your bills being paid. But it doesn't change anything about me. It doesn't change, like, I'm deciding to be happy or unhappy with money, okay? But the stuff, it just made me realize that stuff isn't that important. And money isn't that important. Like, even at this point in my life, I'm 33 years old now, and I don't, I already, I guess, kind of realized that, like, I don't have to be rich to be happy. Literally, if I could just have the things that I need and some of the things that I want, I couldn't get much happier than that. Like, I used to have these big dreams of, like, having so much money I didn't know what to do with it. Like, now I know what I'd do with it. I'd give a lot of it away. Like, absolutely would give a lot of it away. Because I realize how unimportant it is when you have a bunch of it, and how really important it is when you have zero of it. But it definitely gave me perspective, and that, like, the things that make you happiest in life, the things that are memorable, are experiences, not the things. None of the things that you acquire. None of the, it's the things that you do, right? The experiences that you have, and the people, most importantly, the people that you come in contact with in your life. Like, it's not the money. But anyway, that's my story of getting cut a check for 86 grand and blowing through it in less than 2 years and basically starting all over again, and also losing every single thing I had acquired with all the money that I spent. So, but I'm not in any way upset about it. I used to dwell on it. It used to bother me that I did that I squandered that money away. But it doesn't now. It doesn't. And I've also realized, like, that amount of money wasn't a crazy amount. I mean, I'd probably feel a little salty about it if it was like $1 million, even a few $100,000. But it was literally ended up being about $50,000, which is, I make more than that in a year now. So just, I could have that. I would just have to save for a little while. It wasn't an incredible amount of money. Even if it was, like I said, I had great experiences. I had good times, and I learned a lot from having that money at a young age. So anyway, that is my big insurance settlement story. Another thing I learned from it is that, at the time, I mean, I spent money like it was nothing, right? Like, I'd throw parties, I'd spend money, I'd buy all the alcohol for the party, I'd buy all the food, I'd go out to eat with people and just pay the check, I'd give huge tips. It was kind of like flashing my money, like showing it off, because I never really had it to do that before. Like I said, it's like, that's cool. I mean, me and everyone around me had a good time for a short period of time. I was probably used by some people at the time, but I really don't even care about that. It's like, is what it is. But yeah, that's my story. It was fun while it lasted, and it's good memories to look back on. But it doesn't really bother me that I blew all that money. Really doesn't. All right, check back in the next video because I've got some more stories from my sometimes boring but sometimes exciting to me life